things obviously, like I said, when we first got on the show, are swirling right now with Gamecock football. Obviously, we're going through a coaching change. South kind of looking to begin a new era. And after you left, of course, Steve Spurrier resigns. Will Muschamp gets the job. He just now recently got fired. I just want to ask your overall thoughts on the state of Gamecock football. And I don't know how closely you still follow South Carolina football, or if you've been back or whatever, but obviously things need to change, and things are going to change. I'm curious. I know you're not like on the search committee or anything, and I know you might not even be very, very well versed with like who the candidates are available, but what do you want to see Gamecock football? Is there anything specifically that stands out in your mind you want to see Gamecock football get back to with the next head coach, as far as like the culture and stuff like that? Because, I had DJ Swearinger on. He was very, very vocal about he thought the standard had kind of gotten lost. And I see what he's saying. And I've seen it on social media the last couple of days with, I think, the standard of what you guys set. Because I know, especially for you guys, it's very personal because you were the guys – that built that up, that set that established that culture, that set that standard. And I really very much heard out what he was saying, and that standard sort of got lost. So I'll let you have the floor, Aldrick, as far as like, what do you want to see from the next head coach, this Gamecocks football program as a whole? Or is there anything that stands out to you that, you'd like to see from the next guy and what you want him to do with the program?
I just want them to be like a hard-nosed team. Like some games, I watched some games, and towards the end, it seems like they may look like they give up, or they're okay with being in the game instead of being okay with winning. And the standard has dropped. I felt like some people, or even some of the players that came in after us, was being complacent, living off of the aura that we've had beforehand of winning those 11 games, and which after our class left in 2012, they had another 11-win game after that. So they did 3 in a row. Yeah. And after that, man, this was never able to piggyback off of that. And now that Clemson is moving at the way they are, it's going to be even harder to get some of those guys in. Like, and honestly, like the coaches that's coming in, like they really gonna have to do their homework as far as recruiting. So I'm not going to see them get any big 4 and 5-star players that that's going to be highly touted, which is okay. But you have to really go in those areas of people that's work hard, like find somebody like DJ and Greenwood, or Justice and Pageland, and Alshon and St. Matthews, and find those guys. And when South Carolina was good, those days we were in, we had so many different people like in the state of South Carolina. Like, we all knew each other. DeMario knew Alshon, I knew Justice. We all knew each other, and we all decided like, hey, we want to come here and do something different. Mm-hmm. It could easily go to a school that's established. I got recruited by Alabama. I wasn't interested. They already got their stuff. Like, well, I'm just going to be another guy, and then once I graduated, who knows Aldrick? Like, just whatever. Like, we do this every year. So I just want them to be tough, man. Like, it's okay. Like, it's not okay to lose, but we know that it's a process. We didn't get to 11 games in 1 year. We went from winning 7 games to 9 games, then to 11, then 11 and 11. But every game that we lost those first 2 years, we were in there. Like, nobody was just blowing us out. It wasn't, 50-point, teams scoring 50 points on us, 45 points on us, getting punt blocks and, throwing 5-6 interceptions, and somebody running 98-yard touchdowns. Like,
I was going to say, I know that's had to have been tough for, I can't imagine every single Gamecocks defensive alumni watching these last 3 games. 159 points in 3 games is just,
it's tough,
baffling.
Man.
Yeah, it's tough to watch. I mean, it's no other way to put it.
You gotta have pride about yourself, man. Like, and that's one thing we had. Like, everybody was prideful. Like, we was not taking nothing. If anything, I was more calm and level-headed. I wasn't really like the one that was jumping around crazy and talking trash. But we had a lot of teammates that were like always fired up. DJ was always fired up. Shaq was always fired up. Devontae was always fired up. Like, they were Victor Hampton, always fired up, ready to play. So I don't see any of that, like, that edge. Like, nobody with that edge, that swagger. Like, hey, I deserve this, and that comes from your coaches too. Like, Coach Long as a DN, like he'll tell you, take chances, but you better make it. And if you don't make it, he's gonna be on your ass about it. And you know that, like you're gonna know if you don't do your job, no matter if you're Clowney or if you're the walk-on, he's gonna be in your ass just as much as he do Clowney, as much as he's gonna be to the last guy on the depth chart. And when you lose that, you gotta have somebody in that program that's gonna hold people accountable. And when we came up, we had Coach Long, and then we had Coach Elliott. I think he's head coaching somewhere in Georgia
State.
He's going to hold you accountable. And if you don't have those kind of people, like Coach Spurrier didn't have to do that stuff at all. Like Coach Johnson, which he would do it, but he didn't really have to do that because, Coach Long was that mouth, that one that, even if we in practice and if the scout team get 3 yards, we running that play again. Like we're doing it over. And, that was just a standard that we had. Like, we're not finishing the script unless we go against the scout team and they get no yards. Like, they get 3 yards or they complete the pass, run it again. And I'm pretty sure that's not happening there. Like, you can see it. Like, they're not disciplined, they're not focused, they're not tough. It's more of a show than them. And I hate to see it. I hate to say it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, like you said.
I want them to be great.
Yeah, and that's why there's a change. I mean, bottom line, just call it what it is. It's results-oriented business. Again, we could completely dive into that. But, no, I agree with you 110%. I think most people would, probably most alumni would. So